All right, so here is the 2.5 in the tranny that came out of that 600. I'm already got the starter loose. You can kind of see right there. Just sitting there. I'm gonna split it all so I can get the engine on the engine stand and then kind of start dropping fluid and whatnot. See how bad it really is inside. Worst case scenario, I have another 2.5 out of, it was an 86 or an 87 LeBaron. It's almost identical car. I'm going to see, hopefully I can use this engine just because it's a Mopar. Mopar guys love originality. Not that it matters too much in something like this. No, it's not a restoration. It's just get the thing drivable so I can use it, because I got 2 stinking mini projects laying around here that aren't that difficult, that just aren't getting done. But anyway, so back to this. Sitting on cardboard right now because I know as soon as I split that thing, that tranny is going to rock and it's going to dump fluid out. And it's way easier to pick up an oily piece of cardboard than it is to sweep up a crap ton of floor dry. So hopefully I don't have to deal with any of it. Hopefully it all cleans up nice. Doesn't dump out. I let a lot of it drain out outside. We'll see. So, you know, I mean, not much to see here, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. And I'll go through, get it cleaned up. And hopefully nothing major wrong on the inside. And I can just have at it. Oil's black. Not dirty, not ugly, not rusty, just black. No water came out, so that's good. I mean, it's still stuck, but at least it wasn't any weird things coming out. Got that thing off. Didn't drop a single drop of ATF anywhere, so that's kind of cool. That's a lot heavier than I would have thought. I mean, that little bastard's heavy, especially for how big it is. All right, so I have pretty much everything off the outside of the motor minus a couple things. Did learn something. It's really, really difficult to heat up a bolt that goes through an aluminum intake to get it warm enough to crack loose, because the aluminum intake just sucks up all the heat. What the heck, man? He's really in there that fucking tight? No way that should be that fucking tight. Okay, now that the air compressor is done. Surprised me, and I think you can see it in the video here, how clean this is. I got the valve cover off. I just knocked all the bolts loose, but it's not black or charred or just got old, nasty oil in it. Very, very happy with that. Everything, like the camshaft looks nice. There's no wear in there, which one would expect for a 60-some thousand mile motor, you know, running and driving when I hit the deer. So now it's a matter of popping this head off, and we're gonna see down the cylinders together. I'm gonna see how bad it looks. So if I can figure out where it's stuck. I just assume there's enough rust in the cylinder somewhere where it's just not gonna turn, so. But there we go. Just a little wiggle. And there we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. There's the, it almost looks like antifreeze in there, and you can obviously see a fair amount of rust buildup there. Really? What if this thing had a head gasket go out about the same time too? But these don't look too bad, obviously. Yeah, it's just that one cylinder. So, hopefully, I can get that out without wrecking anything, that piston anyway. And then we I'll go from there, I guess. So let's get that antifreeze soaked out of there. We'll take a look at the underside of the head here too. Let's set this right like that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that one is obviously a little more. Let me grab my light. Where did I put my light? Oh, here's my light. Right here. Okay. There we go. So, looks the light. The cylinder looks fine. That one looks fine. That one looks fine. That one. Yeah, there's some rust built up in there, so you can see the antifreeze. But I don't really see any evidence of the head gasket leaking. At least not on that end. I don't see any telltale signs here, like where they would break through in the water jacket or even between the cylinders. That's good. I'm happy. I'd be happier if it just ran to begin with, but you know, it is what it is. The other thing I want to show, just something a little interesting. So I took the timing belt off. I was just gonna try to see if I could just slide it like right off the pulleys. That wasn't working. As soon as I put a screwdriver on it to kind of wiggle it sideways, it absolutely, come on, it absolutely just shredded. It crackled and it just tore apart just like that. So, but I'm assuming it was probably still factory. It's hard to tell. I mean, there's no marks on it anywhere that I was able to see. So that kind of indicates to me that it was factory. Usually aftermarket or replacements will, even dealership replacements will have part numbers on. A lot of times factory ones won't because they don't need to know what it's for because it's coming down the assembly line. But anyway, there's that. I am going to get the rest of everything taken off this motor, get the oil pan dropped, and then start working on getting that guy out. Might be a challenge, but we'll get her. And then, like I say, hopefully I don't do any damage to the piston itself. And then, anyway, something else that I have learned about these, and it's not just because it's a 2.5. I think it's just this era in general. Getting parts for is really, really difficult all of a sudden. A couple years ago, last time I re-gasketed a 2.2, parts I had them the next day, like the gaskets and whatever else. This thing, I'm searching all over God's green earth to find parts for this thing. And I hope I don't need to put pistons in, because if I do, I'm screwed, because I don't think I can find any of them. Finding piston rings is hard enough. So, but, and it's weird because 86, these were still the same as a 2.2 as far as that goes. As far as a lot of the gaskets, the rings, all that other stuff, it's still the same as a 2.2. It's basically a stroked 2.2. So, and then in 88 or 89, they went to the common block, and then it was just a crank difference. Whereas this is still a little difference in some other things too. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It's just, if you're gonna build one of these things, or just overhaul it, or even just do maintenance to it, don't tear it apart till you got parts. That's all I'm saying. So I've got obviously 1, 2, 3 pistons out. One is still in there. The inside of this engine is in such nice shape. It's so clean. It's not gonna really show up on camera. It kind of does, but these bearings, this is one of the connecting rod bearings, are just about good enough to reuse. I mean, a guy could. I don't think I will, but I think a guy could very easily. Mains are the same way, and you can almost see. I'm gonna see, maybe if I put it in from the bottom, you can. It's really hard to see, but you can still see the cross hatching in all these cylinders, even a little bit into this one. So I really want to get this piston out. I can't quite budge it yet. I'm not hitting on it very hard, but I got all the gook out. The gooker on the top was not rust. It was just sludge and gook and just shit like that. So I scraped it all with the razor blade. It's pretty smooth. Obviously, it'll need to get machine cleaned up, but cleaned out all the rest of the garbage in there. I'm gonna soak it with oil. I'm gonna walk away from it for the night, and then I'm gonna try again tomorrow. All goes well, that piston will come out, and I can reuse everything. Then it's just gaskets and bearings, and throw this engine back together. Other than the head will have to get sent out. I'll check that. I got a couple, like the valves on this cylinder were kind of rusty, so I have to take it apart and clean it up nice. But this is hopefully going to be a pretty quick and easy, simple rebuild overhaul, actually, because we're not really replacing many parts. And then there we go. And then before I can put it back in, obviously you got to fix the deer damage. But so far so good, man. Yeah, it looks pretty gross, but I don't see any damage on it. No, for 100% certain when I get it cleaned up, but I got her loose. Just kept tapping slightly, moved a little bit, flip it over, tap it the other direction, and before you knew it, it was jumping. So there's that one. I'll show you the inner. I don't know if that's going to help or not. Nah, it doesn't help. So, but yeah, it's got some issues to deal with. But I think it feels smooth. I know it doesn't show that in the camera, and it looks, that right there looks horrible, but it's not. I think that's all going to hopefully polish out. Take it to the machine shop here, and go from there. Otherwise, block is pretty much stripped clean. Can't get that one out. I don't think I need to take it out. I'm gonna gotta take my bearings out of for the intermediate shaft. Get those bearings out, you know, and pull my mains out now that everything's kind of, I know it's good to go. Put all that stuff away and just wait for the next step to happen. Cook it out and put it back together. All right, today I start putting the engine back together. Just dropped the head off at the machine shop yesterday, so it'll be a while before that, but not that you'll know in the video. But it's cleaned up. I just knocked out, there was a couple frost plugs there, and that's the oil galley. Knocked that out, cleaned that out good. There's still some junk laying in there. I burned the block. That's a little tip I saw. I don't know if there is a real term for it, but just took a propane torch and went over everything. Got it hot, and it'll help bring out the oils that are like in the surface, like the cracks and the crevices, the micro imperfections in the cast iron, so the paint will stick better. And you can always see it better on the bare cast where there's no paint left, and it's really noticeable when you do it. Anyway, and I'm of the opinion the few engines I've done, when I paint it, I will have essentially everything together that's going to be that color. Then I'll paint it. I know some people will go ahead, they'll mask everything off right now, and they'll paint the block itself, and then they'll paint all the pieces as they put them on. This is not a show engine. This is a driver engine, but I still wanted to make it look nice. So I'll get it all together. Basically, the short block will be assembled. Then I will paint the thing, and then we will go from there. I think that's about. There it is. I've got that 2.5 all together. I really don't care whether it's some high-flying V8 or some pedestrian 4-cylinder. A freshly built motor is kind of a sexy thing. And boy, does it look good. So, I've got the alternator on, just to make sure everything kind of lined up and make sure I put everything together to make sure the bolts are all in the right place for one, so I don't have to try to figure it out when it's in the car. But that'll come off when I put it back in, just because that'll buy me 6 inches of space to wiggle stuff, and it's easy to put in when there's nothing else in there. AC compressor, I had that on yesterday just to make sure the belt's lined up, because this pulley, I replaced that, and there's nothing saying front or back, and it's hard to tell if it's like centered. I think it is, but it lines up fine with the belts. I still have this little cover to put on that kind of covers these wires in the front. That is a departure from normal. I'll even zoom in a little bit. I just took red Plastidip and just dipped it. I do that with, I've done that with several of my, just the dipsticks. It just helps them stand out a little better, a little easier to grab and whatnot. You can see a little piece of green tape right there. I still have a galley plug to put in. Obviously, I can't get at it to where it sits, so when I take it off to mount it to the transmission, I'll put that in. This plastic air cleaner cover, intake cover, whatever you want to call it, it looks just about brand new. And there is a product from Malco, I forget the name of it, but it's interior plastic detailer stuff, and my goodness, that stuff works great. That looks almost as good as brand new. It works on plastic, hoses and stuff. I'll show you, here we go. It's kind of tough to see, but all these hoses and vacuum lines and stuff, they were all pretty nasty, gross. I cleaned them up and used that Malco stuff on there. Came out just gorgeous. I did notice that it's a two-step process. The first step gets it clean, but it's kind of streaky. And then the second time around, it really cleans it up. And I did it for this plastic too. This didn't shine up as nice, but it's probably just maybe a little more beat up. This is the only thing that really didn't really clean up very nice because, well, it's a ground strap. Otherwise, it's about ready to go back in once I get the transmission cleaned up. And then, yeah, getting closer. Still a ways off, but that's, now I can kind of put that under a tarp, push it out of the way so I can work on something else for a few days. And, yeah, there she is. Chrysler 2.5.